Sponsored by Business Northwest Exhibition and Conference.
Good afternoon, and joining me to discuss all the latest business headlines is Alan Hyams of the Chartered Institute of Accountants in Manchester. Good afternoon, Alan.
Good afternoon.
A subject very close to my heart is internet online shopping, and I noticed today that the OFT finally are going to start giving these guys some serious scrutiny. And there's going to be some implications, perhaps, for some of the better-known Irish airlines, for example, that do something that is known as price dipping. Are you familiar with this technique of price dipping and what effect it has on consumers?
Yes, indeed I am. I think the biggest frustration that people have is that they think they're buying something for £25 and it ends up being 60. And the whole sales process takes you through the add-ons right at the last minute.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I've experienced on a personal level. I've booked online, seen the headline price of £29.99, flying out to Dublin, for example. Then by the time you get the luggage on and everything else and you get to your preferred seat, you're up to a couple of £100s. How much of an impact do you think this is going to have on the big players, such as the big budget airlines and the holiday companies as well, that are advertising package deals? But, of course, once you get to the end of the sales procedure, it's much higher. Do you think it's going to push these guys into behaving better?
It ought to push them into behaving better. Whether it does or not, we'll have to see. I think one of the issues is the price comparison sites as well. They're not always as transparent as you would expect them to be.
I mean, there's some other practices which are going to come under scrutiny as well, such as the time-limited offers and also the limited availability of certain products. So loss leaders, for example, that they're advertising. This is probably something that's been adapted from the retail high street sector and has been taken to heart on the internet. Do you think this is going to have an impact as well as the price dipping?
I think that's harder to control because on the high street we've got guaranteed timescales of reduced prices. So you can't suddenly have something at £20 one day for one day and the next day massive offer at 10 if it was £9.99 before you started. I don't know whether there are equivalent rules for online.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit like queuing outside the store the night before the big sale starts, isn't it? And, of course, you think you're protected from that online. Now, earlier on today, you were across in Liverpool at a conference where the North West Development Agency made some big announcements in relation to manufacturing in the region. I think we're looking at an investment of £20 million into highlighting the North West region as a good bedrock for manufacturing. How's that going to impact the region? Is this good news?
Oh, it's definitely good news. One of the big value-added things that we do in the North West is we actually still make things. And as a country, we actually still make more than France does.
Well, that's always good to be beating the French, isn't it,
Absolutely.
Alan? Always good to be beating the French.
So it's important to improve the efficiency of that sector, and that 20 million, although it doesn't sound a lot, is there to help them get a little better and a bit more competitive on the world stage.
Excellent. I mean, that links very nicely into the new figures today that we've seen for unemployment figures taking a slow. Is this another sign that we're coming out of recession, or is this a bit of a false start?
There's always a lag between starting to pick up recovery and recruiting new jobs. The last thing businesses do is recruit new people.
That's lovely, Alan. Thank you very much. And now over to the weather.
Sponsored by Business Northwest Exhibition and Conference.